Hey there, how's everyone doing this afternoon? I'm just taking off from Cherry Capital Airport here in Traverse City, Michigan. And I was going to make a quick trip over to Sugarloaf Mountain just to kind of give people an idea of what it looks like. And I'm using Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and I am flying in what is called a gravel. It's a short takeoff, short landing plane that is kind of designed for bush flying up in the mountains, but it's a nice little sightseeing plane. I'm flying in VR in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, so I'm just going to take off the parking brake here and take off, and I'll show you some of the sights here. It's pretty amazing what they've done with this game. This particular plane doesn't require that much of a runway to get off the ground. Again, it's kind of designed for taking off quickly. So just ahead of us there, you can see the bay, and to our right is Old Mission Peninsula. If I look at the exterior view, there's the airport. Well, it's not perfectly designed, it's pretty darn good, to be honest. So off in the distance, I think you can see Sutton's Bay up there. We'll just do a quick flight over Traverse City, downtown. So the modeling for this game is all done by satellite, so you're not going to get precise, exact copies of every building, but if there's a building there, they do a pretty good job of rendering something to sit there. You can see all the various bridges of downtown. And there's the beach. Going to follow along the line here. I think that's a Tom's grocery store right up here. I'm going to hang a left and then head up the peninsula. I'm going to get a little height here. It's interesting to see some of the neighborhoods you don't really see from the ground. So over there on the right is going to be Lake Leland.
Traverse City Tower, Spartan 1855, frequency change.
And here is the
Minneapolis Center, Spartan 1855 is type SAC
windmill
5 miles northwest of Traverse City.
that you'll see as you're driving out onto the peninsula here as you're heading west. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to the south edge of Lake Leland. Look at the little altitude here.
Copy, Spartan 1855.
If I look behind me, you can see the bay there. The airport off in the distance. Old Mission. So this is in VR. You can play the game in regular 2-dimensionals on a flat screen, but honestly, once you play it in VR, you'll never want to go back. It takes a pretty hefty PC to do it, but once you're up here, it's pretty amazing. The screen, this video won't really do it justice, but everything's in 3D, and you totally get that sense of depth and distance. It feels like you're this high. So here's just the edge right here of Lake Leland. There's a little creek here that I've taken from Cedar kayaking. So I'll just do the reverse route of that, and we'll see downtown Cedar, and then I'll just head north to Sugarloaf. So what you're seeing there is they have little markers for all the local airports. You can turn those off if you want, but I kind of find them helpful. So here it is. You can see how you can go all the way from Lake Leland, paddle through this network here, all the way up to Cedar. So what's taking me about 20 seconds to fly, you can kayak that in, I think it was a good hour, maybe there and back for us. So I'll get a little more altitude here. You can see Sugarloaf off in the distance there now. Just starting to come into view. So with this game, you can pretty much control the weather, you can control all the different, let's say I wanted more clouds. You can do that. Let's say you wanted a rainy day, you could do that as well. But to be honest, we've had enough snow lately that, yeah, see, not much visibility here. So I'm just going to go back to a few nice little puffy clouds up here. So if you're familiar with the area, right up on the corner there is going to be Sugarfoot Saloon. And from there, if I was driving, I'd hang a left and head over to Sugarloaf. So you can see the old Sugarloaf Resort there and some of the condos in the front. And if you're familiar with the mountain, that really is all those little, I'll slow down here, all those little trees there. If you're familiar with it, they're pretty much there. So you can see the buildings at the top that are still up there. Have yet to be, I think they might have been torn down at this point, I'm not sure. But if you're familiar with the view at the top, this is pretty much it, pretty close to it. So over on the left is Lime Lake, and over on the right is Little Traverse Lake. And let's see if I can pick up M22 over here. So there's M22. If I took it the other way, I'd head over to Glen Arbor. Maybe I'll do another video and take off from Sugarloaf and head over to the Sleeping Bear Dunes. What you've got in front of us here is Good Harbor Bay. I'll get a little altitude and you can kind of see the beach starting to come into view. Now the great thing about this particular plane is, again, I can land it. It's designed for short landings and short takeoffs, so I think I'm going to land on the beach really quickly. And if you're familiar with this beach, you'll see the parking lot up here and a little bit of sandy area, depending on how high the water is. It's not quite this flat in real life, but... Okay, I've got my flaps down. I want to run into anyone's house there in the distance. So I'm just going to do a quick touch and go here. Not the smoothest landing, but there it is. So we're going to take off again, and I think I'm going to end up by Leland.
Minneapolis Center Spartan 1855 is type Sagamage SAVG 3 miles north of Yankee 04. Request flight following. Spartan 1855 Minneapolis Center. Squawk 702
So you'll see here from the air, you kind of
Squawk 702
can't really follow
Spartan
M22
1855.
as closely because we got a lot of tree cover. Look, it is right down there, you can see edges of it. But off there in the distance is Lake Leland. You really get that sense of how large that lake actually is. Stretching all the way from down there. So there's Sugar Loaf behind us off in the distance. The sun off of Good Harbor Bay. And there's M22. And you can just see Leland in the distance coming up on it. Straight in front of us there. And off in the distance up there in Northport. If I look out the window here, you can see M22 winding around the lake there. Various cottages on the lake. Docks down there you can see. And here is Leland. You can see some cars driving down there. It must be cold out today, not too many tourists. And there, right by the edge of the water, you can see the buildings that represent Fishtown. One of my favorite wineries down here, Verterra, the corner. I think what I'll do is I'll just circle back and we'll land again at the Cherry Capital. I'm going to take the short route though. Cut right across the lake. I think that's what that beacon up ahead of me there, you can see blinking on the horizon. So we'll just follow the lake here and we'll cross over the city of Lake Leland. So there's the city down there beneath us. if we head that way, we'll see Sutton's Bay. Just over those hills. I think for right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick one of these fields to land in rather than heading all the way back there. Just so you can see how short of a area you really need. Probably somebody's vineyard here. Got my landing flaps down. Cut the power. Just come in for a quick, nice and easy landing. Yeah, maybe not so nice. Maybe not so easy, but I'll get her down one way or another.